Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Small Steps. And the reason why you may be thinking of taking some practical small steps in the next week or making a well thought out plan for your future is because today we are having a full moon at 15 degrees of Virgo. And Virgo does rule analysis, and it does rule facts and details. And Virgos are very good problem solvers because they like to tear a problem apart and look it all over and then come up with some sort of solution. Virgo also rules efficiency and good time management, so they're always trying to do things a little bit better. And so there can be an emphasis now on practical reality, because despite the fact that there are 5 planets in the fire signs in a grand trine, which means that there can be people who can be very forceful and want to dominate right now and can be successful at that, still there is now an emphasis also on more practical reality and on a good problem solving, because that full moon today in Virgo at 15 degrees is precisely trining Pluto in Capricorn, also at 15 degrees. And so that, with them trining each other, that lends strength, and each planet is being reinforced by the other. And so what that means is that despite this grand trine in fire signs, which can denote a lot of action and people being somewhat aggressive and really going after what they want and not wanting to listen to anybody else's ideas but just do things their own way, despite all of that, if you want to have a new beginning and you even succeed at making one, what comes next? Well, you got to settle down and make it all work for the long haul, unless you just want to be a flash in the pan. And that is possible. The flash in the pan is possible because people who just want to dominate and they don't have any long-term plans are probably going to fail, and for sure they won't get any financing, and that's why they could fail. So with this full moon in Virgo trining Pluto, it simply means that people who want to be of service to others, and that is what Virgo rules. It rules the traditional 6th house of employment and occupations that do serve others, such as teaching and nursing and accounting, and it also rules nutrition, and it rules anything, any kind of thing where it requires people to be of service to others, and that could involve public servants such as firemen and policemen, but also community volunteers as well who want to help out. So this whole idea of let's get together and help out in one way or another in order to assure stability and in order to have jobs and in order to have a better future and provide for our families, those ideas are being reinforced by Pluto in Capricorn, and that rules management in large corporations or government agencies, and that management forms policies for the long run as well. So this whole idea of practical reality becoming a lot more important right now is emphasized under today's full moon. And so prior to that, we have had a real emphasis on what those fire signs mean, because there are 5 planets in fire signs. Jupiter in Leo is trining Saturn in Sagittarius, and together those 2 planets are trining 3 in Aries, which rules new beginnings: Mars, Venus, and Uranus. Those are very dynamic and somewhat volatile planets. Mars and Uranus are malefic planets, and Saturn is the 3rd malefic planet, and they're all in wonderful harmony to each other. So, if people with evil intent wanted to push forward and get everything their own way, they may be successful now. But could they sustain it? I don't think so. And that's what this full moon is showing us, that it takes a lot more than thrust to make something last or force. It takes good teamwork. It takes financing. It takes somebody with plans and policies in place that can ensure stability for a long time to come, particularly in the area of jobs or commerce. And that's because Capricorn rules pension plans and long-term security. Virgo rules service to others, and those two signs are trining Taurus, and Taurus rules investments. And so there's money to be thinking about right now, and also jobs and security, and that's what the full moon illustrates. So will all of this work out? Well, maybe and then maybe not. And the reason why is that the people who are rushing forward right now, who are absolutely convinced that their way is the only way, and they may have an attitude of, hey, my way or the highway, meaning that people have to follow along with what they want, or else they can just go somewhere else. That kind of thinking may not fit in a long-term plan, and that is because it does take teamwork, and it takes consensus, and it does take some sort of stability in order to attract investors. And that is why with this trine in earth signs, there can be people that are looking to invest in a new endeavor, but for the long haul. In other words, they want to see some profit, and they're not going to get profit if somebody is not willing to listen to anybody else. And so there has to be a little attitude adjustment, because people who are wanting to move forward and have everything their own way are not going to succeed. And that is because nobody is going to back them. And that is because they may not have a plan, they may not have a team, they may not have structures in place to ensure long-term stability. And if you're going to invest your money in anything, you want to know that whatever you're investing in is going to be around for a while so that you can get some profit back. And that it all depends on who's making the new start and how they're doing it as to whether that will succeed. And that's why the show is called Small Steps, because right now maybe all we can do is take small steps, but we're all going to have to do that if we want security and good jobs. So we need to think about that a little bit more. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, remember I said that, your sign is the one that's loaded with planets. There are 3 there, Uranus, Mars, and Venus. Venus and Uranus are the 2 love planets. I mean, you could sort of have your mind on love or unusual things that are rather fascinating to you, including ideas as well as people, so that would be nice. Or you could be deciding with Mars and Uranus so close together that you really want to make some change and do it all your own way and do it very, very suddenly. You could do that, Aries, and you could succeed at that. But how long would it last? The fire signs move forward, but we have to remember that fires burn out. And so I don't think that you can sustain going forward just on your own, and that you will have to form some sort of partnerships. That full moon today is 150 degrees away from your sun sign or in conjunct. It may not affect you. Maybe you're not willing to take practical small steps right now to form a long-term plan for security. But sooner or later you will have to do that, because Pluto is squaring Mars and Uranus and Venus in your sign. Pluto and Mars are the rulers of Scorpio, which rules financing, and there isn't going to be any money, Aries, if you don't decide to join a team, follow policies, and do things according to the way management wants rather than the way you want. So you have a little decision making to do right now, Aries. You can only get so far on your own, and you can't get money just on your own. So you're going to have to try to cooperate in one way or another, and maybe balance your great ideas with a little more practical thinking. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time that may do you a lot of good. In fact, I think it's going to be the precursor to what's coming up for you this fall, Taurus, because you're going to have a stellar year, particularly in the second half of the year. And the reason why is because Jupiter will go into Virgo in August, and it will be trining your sun along with Pluto in Capricorn. Well, that kind of a trine is happening right now, and it isn't Jupiter, but it is the full moon today in Virgo that is trining your sun along with Pluto. And that's why I think there is the possibility, Taurus, that you can be able to take some small steps that can ensure your long-term security. Or if you are thinking of some long-held dream and wondering if you can afford it, or if you have to attract investors, I think the answer is yes to all of the above, Taurus. And so even if you're only taking a few small steps, in a direction that will make you financially secure. I think they are the right steps to take right now, and they could be leading to much greater happiness for you this fall. So congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when I think that you don't have a lot of wiggle room. And the reason why is that that full moon in Virgo squares your sun. The Sun and Neptune in Pisces also square your Sun, and Saturn in Sagittarius is opposing your Sun sign. However, and there isn't anything in your Sun sign anymore. However, Mercury in Aquarius is trining your Sun sign, and so that simply means that even if you don't have too much room to move in a current situation that you're in, and I think the feeling would be that you feel boxed in right now. Even if you can't break out of the box, you could keep thinking about your future plans, and you could contact people at a distance, Gemini, and you may get some very good news at a distance, whereas I don't think you're getting any good news in your current situation because you're a little bit too boxed in by other people who want to do things their way, and they don't really want to listen to you at all. So if you could sort of go for things at a distance, I think that you would be all right, or certainly things that are new and innovative. I think that would be intriguing for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that you simply have to be wary of the volatility that is around right now, because it could throw you off a little bit. And the reason why I think there is volatility around you, Cancer, is because Venus and Uranus and Mars are all squaring your Sun, and that's a lot to handle. And so somebody can be very forceful right now. They can want to dominate. They certainly are not interested in what you're thinking. They don't want your feedback, and so they can decide that they want to do everything all their own way, and you certainly wouldn't agree with that, and besides, you may not even like their ideas or the way they're going about trying to form something new. And so they can be successful now, Cancer, but they cannot sustain that without money and without really good teamwork and without policies in place that ensure stability. So you need to play a waiting game, Cancer, right now. You may know a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes because the Sun and Neptune are trining your Sun sign. They're in Pisces right now. And so that simply means that if you wanted to very quietly work on a dream of your own and maybe take some small steps toward that, you could do that successfully, Cancer. But otherwise, I think that you should sort of duck and avoid people that are really forceful and aggressive, and don't pay any attention to them, Cancer. You have very tender feelings. I mean, you're a sensitive person. But sometimes you just need to back away from people who have harmful ideas or who are administering force, because that's not the way you work at all. So there's nothing wrong with avoiding those kinds of people for your own peace of mind. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is certainly a dynamic time for you, because even though Jupiter is still retrograde in your sign, it is being trined by Saturn, and together the Mars, Venus, and Uranus in Aries are also trining that Jupiter in your Sun sign. So I think you need to sort of pick up the pieces a little bit right now, Leo. In other words, while Jupiter is retrograde for a little while longer, it'll go direct in April. I think that what you need to do is sort of reformulate your plans a little bit, or even straighten out a banking matter or an accounting matter, because the full moon is in Virgo right ahead of your Sun sign. You can see something pretty clearly right now, and it could be a problem, but you could also see the solution for it, Leo. And I think it would take a little more careful handling of your finances, but that is possible right now. And that is because that full moon in Virgo is trining Pluto in Capricorn. So if you were beginning to think a little bit more long term, and you were willing to cut some costs in order to go forward and ensure your security, I think that you could do that, Leo. So if you're deciding to slow down a little bit and take small steps regarding a practical matter, I think you would be rather successful at that, because you could see the solution. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, the full moon today is in your Sun sign, and it's at 15 degrees, beautifully trined by Pluto in Capricorn, also at 15 degrees. 15 is a number that when we reduce it, we add 1 and 5, and we get the number 6. 6 is the number of love. It's the number of partnership. It's the number of Venus. And so it might be, Virgo, that even though you love your solitude, this can be a time when maybe you should join some group at work, or join a committee, or think about an investment and maybe co-invest with somebody else in something, because all of that would work out really well right now, even if you were only taking 1 or 2 steps toward that. And it might be that it would work out because you need a partner. And that's all right. You could get a partner right now. You could also get a wonderful mentor who would have very fond feelings about you. They may really like your reliability and your dependability, because you are a person that sticks to things and finishes them. So this is a very good full moon for you, Virgo. It means that the light is on you in a very favorable way. And who's looking? Management is looking, or people who are sort of high up. They really do like what they see, so congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time with that full moon in Virgo right behind your sun sign, that there's a lot of light in the background of your life, and it may be light that is shining on a health matter, because Virgo does rule health. And so this can be a time when you can be focusing on some pesky little health problem that you have been avoiding. Maybe you do need to go on a diet. Maybe you need to just spruce up your wardrobe. Maybe you need to reallocate how you're spending your money a little bit in order to give you more peace of mind and less stress. So remember, Virgo rules accounting as well. So all of those things are possible. And on top of that, Mercury in Aquarius is trining your sun, Libra. So as long as you stay away from forceful people, as denoted by those 3 planets, including your own ruler, which are in Aries, opposing your sun sign, and you are not open to being a doormat and obeying every single demand you get, then I think that as long as you're around sort of casual people who have future plans, or who are very creative or artistic, you would be very happy. So this is a time to sort of scale down a little bit, Libra, and relax if you can, and sort of take the load off and avoid stress, because I think you'll be a lot happier. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when that full moon in Virgo does benefit you, because it sextiles your sun. And on top of that, it is trining one of your rulers, Pluto in Capricorn, which is wonderful. And the Sun and Neptune in Pisces are also trining your sun. So there are very good planets around you right now. Some of them are under duress. Pluto is being squared by those 3 planets in Aries, one of which is Mars, and those Mars and Pluto are your rulers. So I do not think that you're in a very financially generous mood right now. In fact, if you could cut costs, that I think you'd be happier with that, Scorpio, because I don't think you're feeling like lavishing money on any kind of a plan or idea that could be a flash in the pan, that could be here today and gone tomorrow. I mean, just because it succeeded initially doesn't mean it's going to succeed in the long run, and that's what we're facing right now. We're facing people who have forced their way towards some sort of new beginning, but they have no financial backing, and I don't think you're willing to back them either right now, because unless there is a plan in place, unless there's good teamwork, unless there are jobs that can be guaranteed and some sort of stability so that there can be profit from an investment, nobody's going to invest. And that's why I think if I were you, even if you know a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes, I think that you should be real quiet this week and sort of see what shakes out, because you're in an ideal position to benefit from people who are facing practical reality and doing some good problem solving right now. Because those 2 planets, the full moon and Pluto, are on either side of your sign, which is wonderful. So just observe and be real quiet right now, and sort of keep your hands in your pockets. I don't think this is the time to spend money, Scorpio, but it could be in the future. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, Saturn is in your sign right now, but it is being beautifully trined by 4 other planets in fire signs. Jupiter in Leo is trining it, and Venus, Uranus, and Mars in Aries are trining it. So the 3 malefic planets, Saturn in your sign, and then Mars and Uranus in Aries, are trining each other very harmoniously, and this can give an added thrust to people, perhaps people with evil intent, that really want to either do something destructive or they really want to have their own way, and they're going to force that upon others. It won't last, though, because there has to be some money around to sustain that. Not energy, money. And I don't see that coming. And so if I were you, I'd really look before I leap right now, Sagittarius, because yes, there's a lot of reinforcement in the fire signs, but where are you going to go and how are you going to pay for it? That is what you have to ask yourself first. And that full moon in Virgo squares your sun sign, so it is squaring Saturn. When the moon and Saturn square each other, it means parents are not agreeing on things. And so that could be a problem. The sun and Neptune in Pisces are squaring Saturn in your sun sign, which means somebody's not telling you the whole truth about something, or else you can be kidding yourself about something. And you might have to deal with that before you can make forward progress. So what I'm saying is speed kills, Sagittarius. So you need to slow down a little bit and address your own personal problems before you expand and travel outward. Because remember, everything that you do has got to be paid for first. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, it's wonderful that the full moon today in Virgo is trining Pluto in your sign, because they're both at the same degree, 15 degrees, which reduces to 6, the number of love. So you could be deciding to do yourself a favor, Capricorn, and probably it would involve your health or your bank book. You might want to improve both of those. And I think you certainly are going to get a chance to succeed at that right now by taking small steps, either to improve your health or else to manage your money in some sort of way, perhaps even through a small raise right now that can give you more long-term security. Or else maybe you just want to cut costs a little bit and become a little bit more economical. That's a good idea too, Capricorn. So this is a wonderful full moon for you, and you're really going to benefit because there's somebody around that really appreciates you, Capricorn, and I think they're going to let you know it in a small way. You can be looking for some praise or perhaps a raise. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, Mercury is in your sign today, which is wonderful. That means you can have a lot of great creative ideas, and you can be wanting to communicate to people. But they could have their minds on other things. Remember, yours is a air sign, but the emphasis is in fire signs. There's 5 planets in fire signs. And also the emphasis is starting to shift to earth signs because the full moon is being trined by Pluto in Capricorn. And so I would say, Aquarius, that you've got to come down to earth a little bit, and it isn't enough just to be able to communicate beautifully with people. You've really got to have a plan yourself. That's what the full moon is about. It means that no matter what you want to start, there's got to be some sort of way to take small steps to implement a plan that will ensure some sort of long-term security. And if there isn't a plan, no one's going to invest in your good ideas because they're just concepts. They're not anything that has really got a lot of thought or process to them yet. And so that is what you need to work on right now, Aquarius, particularly if you want anything funded. You're really going to have to get practical about it instead. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, you know, the Sun and Neptune are in your sign, but they are being opposed by that full moon today in Virgo. And that simply means that somebody wants you to come up with some pretty practical answers right now. And they can be answers that involve an accounting matter or billing or some sort of health issue, or something that requires lists of things. And so I think you're going to have to do that, Pisces, even though you don't really like to put everything down on paper and have to account for everything. Yours is a somewhat dreamy, creative sign, and that is where you shine. But right now the emphasis is shifting from people who are in a big hurry, from those 5 planets in fire signs, to people who want answers. right now, or they want some facts, or they want to see some solution to problems. So it isn't all about thrust right now or making a new beginning. It really is about, what are you going to do? How are you going to pay for it? What's the plan? And that's what I think you're going to have to work on this week, Pisces. But I think that you can if you just take it one small step at a time. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.